Welcome everyone to the Malvern Retreat House. We're here at Our Lady of Fatima Pavilion on a beautiful day. We're recording on a Thursday and it is just glorious outside. So, for the past 50 days we were celebrating the Easter season, and that ended this past Sunday with Pentecost. And now we're moving into a big block of time in our liturgical calendar called Ordinary Time or Ordered Time. And we're going to be picking up with week 8, then we go to week 9, week 10, week 15, 20, 25, 30, all the way up to week 34, which is the last week in Ordinary Time. That is going to be in November, and it's going to be Christ the King. That's the feast we celebrate, and then we get back to celebrating Advent and a new liturgical season. So for nerdy people, this is kind of exciting, but it is part of our tradition. We're beginning a new season of the year called Ordinary Time. We begin Ordinary Time celebrating the great mystery of the Trinity. So, we're going to be reading the first reading from this Sunday's Mass. What else? We're using the Connections book or workbook that's part of the Connections program. And there's a little explanation for the first reading and the second reading that we hear at Mass every Sunday. So let's just listen to that explanation as a background before I read the first reading. So, Moses tells the Jewish people to ask 4 questions. These are rhetorical questions, and for Moses the answers are obvious. He does this so that he can teach them about the great things that God has done for them, especially how he led them out of Egypt. Good. Next one. Because of what God has done and because of who he is, Moses says the Jewish people need to follow his commandments. And last, the experience and understanding of God in the Old Testament is further developed in the experience and understanding of the Christians in the New Testament. And we'll discover that in our gospel. So this is the way the lectionary works. The first reading is always connected somehow to the gospel. Okay, well, enough of me talking about the first reading. Let's listen to it. A reading from the book of Deuteronomy. Moses said to the people, "Ask now of the days of old, before your time, ever since God created man upon the earth. Ask from the end of the sky to the other, did God ever do anything so great before? Was it ever heard of? Did a people ever hear the voice of God speaking from the midst of fire as you did and live? Or did any God venture to go and take a nation for himself from the midst of another nation? By testings, by signs and wonders, by war, with strong hand and outstretched arm, and by great terrors, all of which the Lord your God did for you in Egypt before you were even born. This is why you must now know and fix in your heart that the Lord is God in the heavens above and the earth below, and that there is no other. You must keep his statutes and commandments that I enjoin on you today, that you and your children after you may prosper, and that you may have long life on the land, which the Lord your God is giving you forever." So, this is from the book of Deuteronomy. This is a pretty important moment in Jewish history. Moses has gathered all the people together. He has led them out of Egypt. And now, before they go into the promised land, he's kind of giving them a pep talk. And so Moses said to the people, and he's going to tell them, ask questions. So 4 questions. Ask now of the days of old, before your time, ever since God created man. Did anything so great ever happen before? Now, he's referring to God leading the Jewish people out of Egypt and bringing them to the promised land. Has that ever happened before? Here we go. Was it ever even heard of? Then he gets more specific. Did a people ever hear the voice of God speaking from the midst of fire and not die? Like he did for us. God spoke from the fire. He spoke to Moses from the burning bush. He spoke to the Jewish people from the top of Mount Zion. And so Moses is saying, we heard the voice of God and we didn't even die. This is unbelievable. It's never happened before. Then he says, did any God ever go into another nation, snatch a group of people from their midst, and then bring them to the edge of a promised land? Has that ever happened before? Of course not. This is all new. Then Moses says, because of these great things, this is what you must know, that there's only one God, okay? That there is no other. Now, the Jewish people were not able to say the word Yahweh, the name of God. So all throughout the Old Testament, they replaced the name Yahweh with the phrase, the Lord. So whenever you see the Lord in the Bible, and Lord is in capital letters, that's a substitute for the personal name of God, Yahweh. And then Moses ends up his little fervorino, his little encouragement to the Jewish people. Therefore you must keep his statutes and commandments that I give to you today as we move into the promised land. So, if you have the Connections workbook, I would encourage you to spend some time reflecting on the question. This is Monday, so this question, prayerfully reflect and journal on the first reading and pay special attention to how it may relate to your life. For those in the Connections program, I encourage you to do that. If you're not in the Connections program, maybe you'd want to get a book and do this on your own. Okay, God bless. Come back tomorrow. We're going to take a look at the responsorial psalm.